You're back.
I know, it's amazing. I can't even believe it. We were just saying before recording started, it's been since like 2022. It's
Yeah.
somehow 4 years have elapsed. I don't know. I guess what three and a little bit, but here we are. Tell us, how is your relationship with the water evolving?
I cannot believe it was 4 years ago that we were talking last. It doesn't feel like it at all. In that 4 years, in my kind of changing how I approach each year, I've done 2 big years of swimming. I've done a little year of swimming. My how is my relationship with the water changing? It pun intended. It ebbs and flows. When we spoke last, I was training for Lake Geneva for my 70K swim. And the training for that I ended up setting myself, that I felt like I had to do to give myself the mental confidence that I could finish it. That ended up being a lot. that
Yeah.
that was really a lot. So after Geneva, I think I didn't really swim for 6, nearly 7 months.
Wow.
And then after Geneva, I had my little year, but I didn't really set myself I didn't set a challenge that like sparked joy. It didn't spark something in me that made me want to get back to the water. So 2024 was a little bit of a dry year. And then moving kind of into 2025, I started to pick up challenges and swims that meant something to me again. But I was so aware in the back of my mind that I didn't want to repeat the near burnout that I'd had
Wow.
in Geneva. So I've been training a little bit less, and I've been kind of trying to find balance in the water rather than being kind of driven by pure discipline. There's a lot more going swimming because I want to and because I enjoy it. And actually, when I don't want to, then I'll go to the gym or I'll do something else. So the relationship now is it's almost like a lot more supportive. The water is a lot more comforting. It's there when I want it to be, but it doesn't feel like the long arm of discipline that I feel guilty if I don't do a swim. And that is starting to feel really healthy, because it was there's been a couple of dark bits, and then there's been a couple of absolutely incredible swims. But I think the relationship in terms of the water and my swimming and my life is all starting to balance quite nicely.
That's beautiful. Feel like I've kind of had to kind of find that in my own way too. Of just like, I feel like swimming is amazingly supportive, can be amazingly supportive to our mental health in so many ways. And there's studies that show that. And it's just so interesting. Like, I love how you say like the long arm of discipline, like there's like what we can sign ourselves up for and make ourselves do. And it's been a really interesting thing for me too, just to find that like, I want each little piece of my life to feed the other piece, and it all to find that balance. So tell us a little bit more about how you found that balance and what it was like last year. You had some big swims. Yeah. And what's come of that?
My training and the training plans that I kind of write and set out for myself has always been very much driven by what I need to do to give me the confidence to be able to stand on a start line and feel reasonably confident that I can get to the other end. Because, and I think we've spoken before, that is different for everyone. Some people that's volume, and some people it's long swims, and some people it's kind of shorter volume but technique, or less volume but very intensity driven. And for me, that's always been the long swims. So that the really, really long back-to-backs that give me the confidence I can do the distance on the day. But in the run-up to Geneva, I was letting myself get drawn into the volume idea, that if I couldn't do the volume in a week, then that was it. I was screwed. And so I I did my long swims at the weekend, and they were really long. So it was really tiring. And because of that, because I didn't have the balance, I was struggling to get the other swims, the volume in that I needed during the week. And I really beat myself up about it. I really struggled with that. And it's one of those things when I coach now, I do still set those kind of the more intense midweek sessions for my swimmers because it is a good thing. If you can do it, if you can fit it in, it is going to make your swimming better. But I've started to realize that it's not actually super necessary, maybe.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah.
I can still do the swim. I'm probably slower than I would be if I spent that time working at intensity, but I can still do what I want to do without those, 2 hour a day, every day, midweek sessions. And realizing that, coming to that realization and allowing myself to not do that midweek training means I can do a bit more coaching, means I can spend more time with Will. I can do a bit more stuff working on strength in the gym, which weirdly I'm actually finding really, really invigorating at the moment. I'm
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
enjoying
Yeah.
it.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, there was a lot in it of making the realizing I didn't need to hold myself to that rule, and then giving myself the permission to not do it and be okay with that. That was tough. That was really tricky.
Yeah, the allowing is so interesting. It's just so interesting to hear you talking about it because I think for me it's like I realized like nothing's actually guaranteed when you get there to the start line that you'll have that you'll be able to get to the other side, like that the weather will be there, like that there's so many things. Not that that means that we should downplay the training, but I think the other thing that really got me was like I didn't ever want to injure myself or burn out before I showed up. I wanted to show up excited to see what happens, to just let the day unfold and be thrilled about the people on the boat and the support I was receiving and the reason I was there, So it's like, it's just so interesting how we can get ourselves to that place of like, I drive the drive to get this certain goal and what it takes to make that happen. I'm glad that you're allowing yourself some
Yeah.
other options. I'm always telling my swimmers and my adult swimmers especially, it's like we just have to run experiments. We just have to like make a hypothesis and let's see what happens, right?
That's it exactly. It's like I've tried a couple of different ways, and it worked from the swimming point of view, didn't work from the mental health point of view, and so we adjust. And each time I train for a swim, we try a slightly new thing, and we just see what happens. That's all you can do, isn't it?
That's all you can do. I think we just can't hinge on the outcome so much as the experience that we're allowing ourselves. Like, I feel like I don't know, I learned something about myself every single time going during a swim. I think it's
Yeah.
hard to just to like build up an expectation that it would be a certain way. I don't know. That just makes it like the house of cards that could all fall down. And I just think the water is such a unique medium because it literally holds us up. And so it's like if we can actually optimize our movements so that we're just progressing our flow forward, then it seems like we should be able to swim for a pretty long time just by without doing any much training. So fascinating.
And that's not exactly in what you're talking about there from the technique point of view. But one thing I really, really have noticed as my kind of mental health and relationship with the water goes up and down and up and down, the better I'm feeling mentally and the more mentally well I am, the more time I take at the end of my training sessions just to lie there and float. I just float. I just play mermaids. I'll chase Will around if we're training together and try and grab it. Like just the play of lying there and just feeling supported and weightless and warm and held. And I don't do that when I'm not such a good mental place. And when I'm enjoying my training and I'm doing well, then yeah, Mermaids.
I love it. I love it. It's so important. It's so important. I think, yeah, something I got wind of not too long ago, just as the age in the aging woman body of like trying to figure out the things. It's like we also need the strength, like you're saying, like strength training. We need stuff on land to build up our bones. And so it's like to me, like the swimming is beautiful, but I always want it to be beautiful and welcoming. I always want to feel held there. But I also know that I need other things for my aging body to keep moving and keep mobile. And any repetitive use of like anything, it's like you just have to be cautious because when as we get older, it's like what I'm experiencing in my body anyway. Not to say that we still can't swim long distances. I just want to be super excited about whatever I sign up for.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
But I know you were in Loch Ness last year, so you got to tell us a little bit about what that was like. And you went to Scar too. So I know we said we weren't going to, go down the list, but give us a little bit of what your last year was like.
Yeah, so 2025 I did SCAR, which is if for anyone that doesn't know, is the 4-day event in Arizona in the US. It's made up of the four kind of sections of the river, the four lakes that you swim one day after another. So it's Saguaro, which I have now learned how to
Well
pronounce
done. Well done.
properly, Canyon, Apache, and Roosevelt. Oh my gosh, it was gorgeous. Oh my goodness. Um, I'd never done a stage event like that before. Absolutely loved it. It was just so much fun. I loved being in this crowd of people. It was a little bit traveling circus kind of kind of thing. It was also a bit
No,
like,
for sure. Yeah, there's no we may as well just be honest with everybody about that, right? It's a traveling circus, but of a bunch of people who all love swimming just like you.
well, exactly. It's like it's half traveling circus and half like adult summer camp for people who just love the water, who just love to swim. And you're in these incredible, beautiful sections of the river. Like you're seeing things, seeing wildlife, seeing these massive canyons and cliffs. It was just so beautiful. I absolutely loved it. If you guys weren't so far away, I would be there every single year. I swear. But yeah, that definitely like piqued an interest in those kind of
Nice.
stage
Nice.
swims.
Yeah.
I just well, I just felt so
Hmm.
strong day after day. I was still excited to get back in the
Hmm.
water. So yeah, absolutely loved it.
Speaking to that a little bit more, just because it's like if for anyone listening who might be interested in the benefits of it, it's like it builds so much capacity and resilience to just wake up that next day when you're feeling a little sore, a little run down, and then to find out, oh my gosh, I can get back in the water and I can just take that first stroke and I can, oh, maybe I'll make it to the other side. So it's a huge confidence builder, just going back to that kind of training need to just build that confidence up to see what's possible.
Exactly. It's almost like it's a different way to learn more about what you're capable of and what your body can do. Like a lot of us, we test ourselves against long swims and rough swims and cold swims. And a lot of us will do the back to backs or the big swims in training, but doing it day after day after day after day and coming at the end and realizing that you had fun doing it. Yeah, I mean, because that's kind of a part of why I love swimming is I love that exploration of what can I do, what am I capable of, where is the limit. So doing a new style of event and realizing like, oh yeah, I can take to this too. This is brilliant. I love that element of finding out more about yourself.
Yeah, and it's fun to. I think it's a little bit of a relief. I guess I'll speak for myself. Is when you show up there and you realize that I don't know where I have always swam. It's like I'm like the only one who kind of wants to push distances and swim a little bit further, and to go there and find a whole bunch of people and everybody just wants to just see what they can do. It's pretty exciting to be like, oh, I'm not the only one.
Yeah. It's just fun to make
Oh yeah.
friends,
Yeah,
isn't
to meet
it?
people that you've only heard of or seen on social media or whatever. Yeah. That's
Hmm.
pretty great. So after Scar, had you been to you've been to the US before, right?
I had done when I was much, much younger, when I was kind of, I think, I think it was like post GCSEs that we have in the UK. So I was about 16, 17. And that was mainly New York and New England area. So when we came over for Scar, Will and I spent 2 weeks, and we went and saw the Grand Canyon. We went up to Yosemite. We were down in the wine region in California. So first time I've been over that side of the US, and first time like as an adult. Yeah, first time that I properly remember.
I'm glad you had a chance to visit the desert Southwest and the West. That's all my stomping ground. So it's good.
Yeah.
Cool. So then what was after Scarf?
So after Scar was the main event of the season, main event of 2025, which was a solo of Loch Ness, um, which in that same conversation of picking things to test yourself, I had picked Loch Ness for many reasons, one of which I was expecting it to be really, really cold. I did so much cold training. I did so many self-run cold camps, and I was doing ice training, and I had an ice bath that I was trying to get as low as possible. And then on the day, it ended up just being a balmy 16 to 17 degrees. And I knew a couple of people who've swum Loch Ness before. You read through all of everyone else's swim write-ups and their reviews and do this, don't do that. I couldn't find a single other person who's had it above
Mm,
14.
mm.
It was like, there's like almost a little part that I feel a teeny tiny bit cheated. It was beautiful. Again, it was in its own way, it was stunning. It was an incredible swim. I was so pleased with how I performed, with how I trained for it, with how everything, just one of those swims where just everything went right. It could not have gone better. But like on the other hand, I chose it to see how I would do in the cold, and then it was really warm. So yeah, who knows? Maybe I'll head back. Who knows? I've not got anything booked, but I like the idea. So
Was it just went like clockwork? There's nothing exciting about it at all.
there was exciting, yeah, there was exciting bits. We weren't sure if we were even going to start. The pilot who I'd hired, their boat broke down. The boat that they had hired wasn't available for the full window that I had paid for. They didn't have the right lights, so they couldn't go out in the morning, and they didn't have the right nav equipment, so they couldn't go out at this time, and this and that and the other. And then the only day that they were willing to take me out on, there was a yellow thunderstorm warning. So it was all a little bit fraught, but it was one of those things where, like, by the time I got in the water, when we started, everything was just perfect. Everything was perfect. We had maybe 5, 6 hours of glass, mirror still water, not a ripple on it. And these kind of tendrils of low-lying mist. And it's a really thin
Mhm.
lock. So you can see both sides, you can see all the fir trees or the houses and buildings, an old castle as you go past it. Um, my nutrition went brilliantly. It's the first time on a swim I've not thrown up or felt the need to throw up. No gastrointestinal
Wow.
issues. Yeah. I'm sure they were probably having some more problems. Things always happen on the boat, things break, but I didn't notice, I didn't realize. Towards the end of the swim, they asked me for kind of another gear for a power hour. I hadn't really realized that that's because like the thunderstorm
Oh,
was descending
wow.
on us. and they were worried that they were going to have to pull me out. I just thought we were aiming for a fast time, and we were aiming for a fast time. So I was having a brilliant time. So yeah, like and it kind of comes back to that same idea of like, yeah, there was a lot of stuff around it that was really fraught and really, will it even go ahead? And then once I got in the water, that was it. Everything was just, well, I'm swimming now, so it's brilliant. I'm swimming, and we're going, and everything is perfect. So yeah, just by the time you get in, that's all that matters. Everything else kind of dissipates.
Did you go from Loch End to north?
I went the opposite way to normal. Okay. So the normal way is Fort Augustus to Loch End, which is kind of the southwest or south up to north. The wind had spun round on us, so I went Loch End down to Fort Augustus, north to south.
That's the same. I feel like we had the same swim. I was just a year ahead of you, but I had the same like boat drama. And then really? Hurrying. What was any other circumstances? But it's just funny to hear. It was like almost the same. But yeah, I went for Loch End to Fort Augustus as well. I really liked going that way.
Which I quite liked it.
I can't imagine walking to Fort Augustus. The beginning, end part, you're like walking for forever. I can't imagine starting that way.
Yeah, I felt like I was walking for ages. But then there was lots of, because I finished kind of mid-morning, there was lots of people on the beach. I had like a little, a little welcoming committee, and then you could just kind of, you're done. You can just tuck up, fish and chips for dinner. It was great.
Yeah. Awesome. What was the come down like after Loch Ness? I mean, there was a lot going on. It sounds like there was a film crew there. Am I right about that? So it's like, tell us about that.
Yes, yeah. So one of the companies I've been working with this year, Red Equipment, sent a videographer, sent a film crew out with us on the swim. So the day after, we were doing kind of like some little bits of filming for that, a little post-event debrief. Again, I think almost because the build-up was so balanced, the build-up was so healthy, that the come down hasn't been bad. Like after previous events, I really have struggled with the post-event blues. Sometimes it really is just post-event blues. Like I said with Geneva, I didn't really want to get back in to the water for about 7 months. I haven't had that at all after Loch Ness. It's just been fun, and maybe that's because of the excitement around the film and excitement around having my whole family there. But then normally I go off, I finish one swim and then I'm immediately looking forward to the next one. I didn't have anything else lined up. So I'm kind of trying to think it through in my head as I'm talking, which isn't going particularly successfully, but it was just, there hasn't been a come down after it. The months, so Loch Ness was in July, and 2025 was just the best year ever. there was no come down. I have stayed training. I didn't really have an off season like I do almost every year. Stayed training. I've just absolutely loved it. It's been night and day to some of the tougher swims I've done.
It seems like, how did you find like the cold preparation, the cold tolerance? Did you find a love for the cold, or that it seems like I felt like there was something that
I don't know, actually. I'm still trying to figure that one out. I definitely enjoyed it. I loved it, but I have not yet really figured out for myself if I like the cold or if what I enjoyed was the challenge and then the achievement. So I'd take myself up to Scotland and I'd go and visit my sister and take myself off for like a mini training camp and go and find the coldest water I could, go and find 10 or 11 degrees and do
Wow.
6, 7 hours in it.
Wow.
And I wouldn't necessarily say it was fun, but I enjoyed achieving
Hmm.
it. And then this year, actually, this season, I've taken up ice swimming for the first time, and I'm kind of having the same mental dilemma about it. Like, do I actually enjoy it? Because if I'm going to the lake by myself and it's 6 or 7 or 8 degrees, I really struggle to get in, and I really struggle with the pain in my extremities. I do not like the pain I feel in my hands, and I've got quite a big nose, so the pain I feel in my nose, my poor little schnoz. Um, but then I get to an ice competition. I did GB Champs in Scotland at the beginning of December, and I just had another competition this weekend, Saturday, yes. And I love the competitions. I absolutely love it. And there's a yeah, do I don't know if I enjoy the cold. I don't
Is it more
know.
about the people, maybe, at the competitions? Yeah.
I think it is. I think it's the people and the
Hmm.
atmosphere and the community, the setting a goal,
Yeah.
achieving it, the competitiveness when you're at a nice competition. I'm not 100% sure that I actually like cold water, but but we'll
Yeah,
keep
yeah.
that quiet for now.
Well, I think it's an interesting exploration, and again, we were saying, you got to run experiments, so you're trying stuff, and that's
Yeah.
it's commendable. I think, though, to go from a 70K lake swim to a cold water swim to doing ice competitions. It's amazing that you allow yourself that. It's like we shouldn't get stuck in a rut. We should find different ways that we can explore and see what works for us. So it's great.
Different ways to enjoy the
Yeah,
water, isn't
it
it?
really is, right? Because it really is all about the water, as far as I'm concerned. It's like it's like hone. It's just popped in my head. One of my swimmers was asking me, she's like, "Do you really love swimming?" And I was like, I love what swimming enables me. I love that I can go to any body of water anywhere in the world and comfortably. And it's been a huge work in progress for me because I was terrified of
Mm.
open water for the longest time, of like what was in there, and it was dark, and it was murky. And now I've swam whatever, lakes, oceans, but all over the world. So it's amazing to feel so much more comfortable and confident in myself, and might trust myself in the water in whatever currents or conditions. And I think that's really what I want for anyone. It's like to have that comfort. And I just know it's not there for everyone. And there's actually too many people probably isn't there for. And I want people to feel like if they get injured on a land sport, that they could go to the water and get exercise that way. It doesn't have to define them, but we shouldn't let any one thing define us. I guess maybe that's my whole thing. We should.
But I think that's a really interesting thing to pick up on, that just because we swim, just because I don't know about you, I don't think I've ever asked you the question, but like, I define myself as a swimmer. People ask, I tell them I am a swimmer. That is how I define Amy Ennion. But that doesn't necessarily mean that I love every swim I do. And it doesn't mean that I love every training swim or that I'm having fun for the entire duration of every swim. I think that's a really important thing, that like, if people are training and and they're like, oh, but I'm a bit tired, I don't really want to do this one, or you don't have fun in the middle of a 6 hour swim,
That's
that's
okay.
okay.
Exactly.
That's normal. That's absolutely fine. Sometimes it's not the swimming, it can be what the swimming gives you, the exercise, the comfort, the confidence, the mental wellness, that it's not less than. There's no imposter syndrome to like, oh, I'm not enjoying myself 100% of the time, so I can't be a proper swimmer.
Mm,
No one enjoys, well, I mean, maybe some people enjoy themselves 100% of the time. I shouldn't speak in
right.
absolutes, but I definitely don't enjoy myself 100% of the time, and I still define myself as a swimmer. So yeah, I think that's a really important point.
going into this year? How are you grounding yourself to stay balanced?
I am focusing this year on each week, just kind of finding balance within the week, of being active, but not necessarily making that I have to swim each day, of giving myself time and permission to kind of relax a little bit more every now and again. And I'm also, I kind of alluded to it briefly earlier. I alternate a big year, a big swim, lots of training, lots of focus, lots of dedication towards it. Big year and a little year. Smaller swim, less training burden, not as difficult. So I don't need to train that much. So this year is a little year. So I'm doing smaller events. They're going to be fun. It will be enjoyable. And so that relieves a little bit of the pressure on myself. So I'm kind of trying to just focus week on week and make sure I find balance in each week.
Yeah. I think it occurs to me, like when I very first started interviewing swimmers back in 2020, one of the questions I would always ask people was like, are you a process or an outcome person? And because I knew for me, I was just seeking the outcomes. I mean, I was just trying to survive. I had 2 little kids and whatever, it's been a long road, but this last year, I feel like I really have started, just like you said, like within a week, how can I stay moving, stay active, love each moment? Like it's all about embracing the process. And then what's cool, I think, is like when your process enables you to just happen to be able to go and swim really far. If your process is set up right, that's what there's potential for that. So it's amazing to see how we can evolve and change. So kudos to you for doing it a week at a time. I think that's awesome.
Thank you. Yeah. Because I really clearly remember listening to the early podcasts when you would ask people that, because I would try and think it through for myself, and in my head it used to be so cyclical, and I could never come to an answer for myself that if I didn't have the goal, I would never do the process. I wouldn't just train for the sake of training. But if I didn't, but I would only enjoy the process, I'd only enjoy the training if I had the goal. So it's almost like one feeds and one enables the other. And yeah, I think it's only really been in probably the last year that I've kind of broken that I'm starting to be a little bit more, find balance in the process, actually enjoy the process by itself for what it is. And then if the outcome happens, when the outcome happens, that's brilliant. And I enjoy that as well. And that, it's starting to feel like a much, much healthier approach.
Awesome. Yeah. Very cool. So tell us, it sounds like there's some events people can see you at. Actually, I think this podcast probably won't come out till maybe even after you've done all that stuff, but the movie will be out for a while. Where will people be able to see this thing after it comes out?
It will be on YouTube. So I've got a couple of in-person premieres around the UK, and then hopefully in early March around International Women's Day, we will do an online screening, and it will be on YouTube. So yeah, I'm so excited. I'm so excited for people to see it. I think it's the shots of the lock that the videographer managed to get. Some of them are just breathtaking. It makes me want to go and swim it again.
That's amazing. Yeah.
We'll see.
Sometimes I feel like the people on the boat, they have the best view, right? I mean, I love being the swimmer, but the people on the boat, they get the best view. They get to see the sunrise and set and all the day, like the water, the way the water changes with the movement of the sun. And we see it too, just different vantage point, but
definitely. So that would be online kind of early March.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Amy. It's really good to catch up.
Thank you, Shannon. It was great to catch up finally.